by the name Themba the Rockstar, Themba the Superstar, and still Rockler Hood. Okay, remember the report on like to show you like the report, we call it report. Me re tlo check CEO of PACOFS wa gopola na tsitse article last week a go tlo cleanela that senior market le gona ga bona le zware fele mereko o mo ga berekiwa a re mmone ene re tseneng ka ga re mmone na re ka mmona a re he full report. Welcome to Rockler Hood report. I go by the name Themba the Rockstar, Themba the Superstar. Get the report. It's the report live on Rockler Hood TV. One kid I go by the name Themba the Rockstar, Themba the Superstar. What we do best is remember more PACOFS symbolise that cleaning project campaign here, the CEO. We here with him, we just ambushed him, took his time without an appointment. How do we the gentleman? Ntate dumela le kae? Thank you that we are Thabisa from Rockler Hood TV ntate. Re lebetse re thabetse ba mona. Ntate kopa ntate ihlalose ke mang position ya ntate and why are we here?
Okay, my name is Themba Dlamini. As I introduce myself, I'm the Chief Executive Officer here at PACOFS, and PACOFS stands for the Performing Arts Center of Free State.
Yes,
okay. I've been here for, let me see now, today is Monday, that's the 74th day, working day that I've been in this particular position.
Yeah.
So I'm fairly new, I joined in November. So a quick background, academically, my background is development economics.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so I've served in various institutions, both as a CEO and also in boards. I've even chaired the National Library of South Africa's board for 6 years or so. No, yeah, 6 years. Okay. Now I'm here. I took this contract because I wanted to make change, and then there are a lot of things that I think I can bring to this organization based on my experience. One of the things that I would want to see is the actual social cohesion, which is chapter 15 of the National Development Plan. And as I said, the reason why I've taken this job was also as an active citizen to come and add value. I'm from Pretoria originally, so I took that risk to come to another province and come and add value.
The reason why we're here, we saw an advert last week. There was a conversation on Facebook. It nearly went viral when Ntate will outline that further. No conversation in Facebook on Gardener PACOFS failure, and then there was another post in Tato Shaile, the posting that he will be cleaning the garden and he's going to be paying himself in Dontoni. Ntate, take us through that 3-in-1 viral conversation that started on
Facebook. So I'm not a Facebook person, but I got somehow informed, and I was able to track down the comments.
Yes, indeed.
So the 3-in-1 is 3 ladies and the CEO. One of the ladies was actually coming to buy tickets, and then she was annoyed by the dirt and the look and feel of PACOFS. And then she registered the matter through our platform, and Adri, our senior manager in marketing, was able to pick it up. Then the word spread because it started with that lady, and then I heard of another lady called Truela.
Yes.
So Truela, she's 80 years of age. She has been in landscaping for more than 30 years, so she knows the ins and outs of landscaping.
Yes.
So then we brought them on board. So the 3+1 is 3 ladies and a gentleman. Okay.
Nice.
So that's how it came about. How the garden story started, as I said, it was through this particular lady. And we then said, and then the lady came. We had 2 sessions. We had the one with the person who I call her my spy because she tells me everything about what is happening in PACOFS, to the extent that she was saying, Mr. Dlamini, there was somebody or there's somebody who's doing their washing here. Okay, so the scavenger, we located the scavenger, and I asked her nicely, can you make sure that tomorrow when I come back, I don't find you here? Okay. And then she politely, agreed. I went there to check. She was nowhere to be found. We asked her a very simple question: how do you rinse your clothes? She didn't want to divulge where she was getting the water from. Okay, so that's one thing. So this lady also gave me more information about, if you look at the entrance where we buy tickets, you will see that the place was highly vandalized. I mean, we had a door that has been ripped off completely, which is an aluminium door.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a market for that particular door. Okay, so we have seen people vandalizing property that belongs to the community or the citizens that are in this particular place.
And I believe we have security in the building, in the facility, Mr. Right?
We have what?
Security.
Look, the security is here, but if you recall the history, what has happened in the past before I came on board.
Yes.
So the security, we have to alert them all the time to say that as and when you patrol, also make sure that you also cover the terrain out there. So then the 80-year-old lady came. She's an expert in landscaping. She told us exactly what must be done.
What needed.
We have about plus minus 70 plant pots on the premise, and she told us before we can start, we need to clean up the pots. Okay, then one thing led to the other, and she said, well, the other thing that we need to do is to fix the garden in front so that the ambience look quite attractive. Then and then I asked her, well, who can we get? And she said, no, I've got a very reputable person who can come and trim the trees and cut them off to the level where when you pass, the building is quite visible. And then I asked the question, okay, how much is it going to cost? And then she gave me a figure. I said, okay, fine, it will come out of my pocket. So I paid the guy. Okay, and the reason why I paid the guy was basically to get the work done.
Nice.
Okay, because I didn't want to go through all sorts of processes and all that. Okay, but in the future, obviously, we'll make provision to say that if we are going to use people like this particular gentleman, we need to find then the appropriate way of doing that. So, in terms of fundraising, I think Adri is actually one of her deliverables in terms of that. So, the concept of gardening was brought by these two ladies that are called spies.
Yes.
Because they saw more than just gardening. They say in order to attract the audience, the look and feel of PACOFS need to change. Okay, and I was not getting that from the first from them only. I got it from other people that I've interacted. One gentleman from agriculture, provincial, was saying, Themba Dlamini, please fix that building. Right, and I met him not long ago, yesterday, and he said, please, get that building in order, because you are not going to get anyone coming to it. And then I reminded him to say, well, join us tomorrow at 2 o'clock. As from 2 o'clock, bring your overall, your garden tools, and then we'll start working.
That, as you know, we are a township-based television channel. My question now comes, Ntate is going to be paying the garden out of his own money. Now the story is out there. Ntate, you only paid the tree filler out of your own pocket because you avoided the process of going through the process of payment in government. You know how long does government takes out to pay you, whatever, when they owe you, as they owe me. It's fine. So you only decided for the tree filling guy. I'm making this clear for those township artist-based Babalinkokas who are struggling with maybe getting to be known, marketing, rehearsal space.
Yeah.
Well, one would say, why wouldn't that they didn't take that money and maybe if one unzabata marketing for his single, now he's just dropped the single, he or she doesn't know where to go and promote the single.
Look, PACOFS is a platform for young talent in the space of performing arts and so forth. Now, the question is, I wanted to get certain things done quickly because I don't have sufficient time. I work on a particular timetable. Okay? So in order to expedite the process of getting the momentum of the garden campaign, and by the way, I had already announced to the staff that in my first staff meeting, I said to them, on such a day, we'll have a campaign called Operation Clean Up Your Own Backyard.
Nice.
So that's how the whole thing started. So the staff is aware of it. And then in order to make sure that we get certain things out of the way, which is a quick win, then the money was paid out of my own pocket. In terms of the young talents that are in the space of performing arts, especially from the township, yes, PACOFS is a platform where they can showcase their work. Two is, as you will know, that PACOFS get its own grant funding from the department. Okay. Now that grant funding, obviously, on the basis of your allocation, you then have program 2, which is your artistic development. That's where the work gets involved or gets started, and that's where your young artists from the township must come in. But at the same time, I believe that we need to have a decent conversation as to what is it that these young artists can bring to the party, and how is it that we can preserve their work. Okay, because I am of the view that I want to move away from just being an artist for the sake of being an artist. Okay, I want to make sure that when people come with their production can be preserved. Okay, so in order to get support, obviously they'll have to be on the lookout as to what is happening. We had an incubator program where we took plus minus 38 individuals across the province, mainly from the rural. So we had a mixture of the diversity. Okay, and in that program there were young talent. Okay, that was identified. But the incubator, as the word means, incubate. So you incubate, but you want to see what's going to happen to the people that you have incubated. So in that process, I've then also introduced what I call a tracking down system. So when you incubate, I want to see where these people go. So I've tasked even the program 2 people to say, I want to have a tracking system. Okay, so that you know that on such a day, so many people came into the system, so many have graduated, and the like. But where are they in terms of their career, so that we can know that do they need some form of assistance? Do they need to be linked to some form of companies? So that's the reason why you have a tracking system. Nice. It doesn't exist, so I've introduced it to say that let's have a tracking system, because I believe that anyone who gets into the system, there must be an exit way. So that is the way we are going to be able to re-engineer the young ones from the township. But of course, we don't want shortcuts. Yes, we want people to come genuinely to showcase what they have. Okay, and then start working on a program going forward. Now, maybe let me make you aware that the organization got something called the annual performance plan. Yes. So if you look at the annual performance plan, you will see what PACOFS is obliged to deliver on. Yes. And that plan gets approved by the minister. And that plan now becomes a measurement instrument to say that as PACOFS, you said you're going to have so many production, you said you're going to have so many partners in marketing and so forth. And on the production in particular, right, we have 2 productions that are commissioned by ourselves. Nice. So the artistic director has her own production to showcase. And then we have the commission production. Okay, and all of that will be supported by an artistic policy, which is almost now being concluded. Since I came on board, we have already done the discussion around what this particular policy should be, so that whatever we will be doing in artistics, programs, we then have a policy instrument that informs it. So again, the youth, young talent that we want to nurture from the township will always be catered for when this policy also gets signed off. Then we have something that informs us to say that, okay, you don't just handpick this person from this and all that. You've got a legal instrument. Okay. Nice. And again, in order to penetrate the township, we are also looking at partnering with institutions such as your Playhouse company. because they've got a very strong rural-based school program
Yes.
to promote, performing arts.
Yes.
So we'll be gradually, getting into the rural areas. Very soon we'll also look at schools, whereby we, look at how many of the schools we can then bring on board as partners. Okay. So we are going to go beyond the issues that we have raised.
Only 74 days in the office is already on his overalls. That doesn't mean a true active citizen. Let's look at the last part of the interview, restorations and preservations.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, look, the reason why I'm so passionate about restoration and preservation, when I got here, I asked, how are we preserving all the production that have happened before I arrived?
Yes.
Okay. So in my what I call gap analysis,
Yes.
I then identified there is a gap. Okay. Then I said, first and foremost, let me first look at formulating a policy on preservation, but specifically for performing arts.
Nice.
Okay. Now I can't do it alone. There are institutions that are in the space, like the National Library of South Africa.
Yes.
They are the custodian of preservation of all types. Okay, so very soon we will have a memorandum of agreement whereby they will at least assist me to say that the policy instrument must be, crafted in this particular way. Okay, but at the same time, all the work that has been produced, like for an example, we had a comedian show on Friday. Then I said to the artistic director, we need to make sure that the performance that took place on this day is preserved. I even said to the comedians themselves, I said, 10 years down the line, will you be able to remember that you have done this? And they were sort of, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, I need to preserve your work, but we need to work together to preserve it. So preservation is not about archiving. So that's a different matter.
That's a different
So archiving, you can archive, but preservation, it means that the production that was done, you can still get it in its original format.
Nice.
20 years down the line. And then for every new edition, that also gets preserved. So the institution that I made reference to has got the capability to assist me.
Yes.
And I'm taking advantage of the fact that I was once a chairperson of that institution. So that particular proximity, I'm taking advantage of it. So preservation, your township talent will be preserved. So you'll have one community after the other. Then they can go and say, let's go to PACOFS. If they want to do research about gumboot stencing, or they want to do research about the different types of dance and theater with an indigenous perspective and so forth, then PACOFS is a platform. But we need to preserve that work.
Nice.
And that's where I'm going.
That in terms of programs and you've just mentioned preservation. Is there a department inside PACOFS where we call it archives on the production?
Yeah. Look, you don't have a program or a unit called archiving, but let's contextualize it. Where does production take place? Or who is actually the engineer of the productions? And that is program 2. So the artistic director becomes the custodian of preservation. Okay, so that's where it will be preserved. And as I said, archiving is one part. Records management is another part. So you look at archiving from an operational point of view. But when I talk preservation, in terms of production, I'm talking about preservation from a strategic and a core business perspective. So those are a bit separate, but they're somehow interlinked because you use more or less the same legislation to assist you to get to where you want. Okay, but preservation is quite stronger. As I said, it will stay there indefinitely. Archiving, it becomes historical. You can only look from archiving, but with preservation, as I said, the comedians that performed, when they come back and perform the same, right, it will be a second edition.
It will be a second edition.
And the second edition will be preserved differently because the ambience and the look and feel and the performance, the audience and interaction will be different. So you move from the same comedian presentation to another. So when you preserve, if you do research, then you can be able to distinguish. So that's the reason. So, but the location will obviously be in the artistic program, and you're using the limited resources to do that. PACOFS got only 63 to almost 67 people employed, and the middle part, which is your core, it's not there. We only have artistic, which has less than 10 people, and that's the core business of the organization. But besides those issues, we are said we're going to move on. So the train, when it leaves, we'll have to catch up on it.
Finally, Tate, what's coming? What's coming? I know it's a new financial year now. I'll speak to Andre also and other departments. Some of this information you will see it popping up on the screen because of the help of Andre and other team departments. But Nje, just to brief out of your head, what's coming? What's new?
Look, I mean, you have a whole artistic program. If you compare us with other institutions, you will know that there are different programs that are coming up. As I said, we had the famous one, they call it Higher Labi. So that's the big ticket item. So we are on the lookout for everyone, all the sundries, to come on board. That's our, what we can call a flagship, program. It has been part of my talk with the artistic director. I've even ended up making a joke and change the name to being the artistic director and calling Higher Labi. So that's our main ticket item that is coming. Of course, there will be others that are coming in terms of the annual days, such as your June, Youth Month and so forth, Women's Month, and so forth. So you'll have programs dedicated to that. Okay. So there's going to be a mixture. It's not just going to be theater. There's also going to be festivals that are going to come up. So you are going to have a mixed blend of what is happening in the performing arts.
Is the office of the CEO always open for anybody who's coming for cues and questions, misunderstanding, clarity?
As I said, you ambushed me.
Yes.
But for the short period I've been here, by the way, just for you to know that I did my own walkabout of the institution. All I needed is somebody to guide me in terms of the building.
Yes, sir.
So I know this organization for that period I've been. I can tell you its capability in terms of its machinery. It's got one of the best machineries. It's got one of the best stages that you can think of. It's got a wardrobe. Okay. If you go to the wardrobe and you look at the things there, it's quite amazing. So when you look at just the value of what I have identified from machinery, the stage, and the wardrobe, and you have to put the rent value. We're talking about a lot of money, okay? Yes. But then we are saying, how do you utilize your stage? How do you utilize your facilities? So over and above performing and production, okay, we are saying you've got a venue, right? If you want to hire a venue, I will charge you, by the way. Right? For your information, we had a venue where the government or the ANC provincially was doing their fundraising. They were here, but they come at a cost because I have to finance my facilities. Okay, and it is allowed. There's nothing unusual what we are doing because the legislation allows us to do exactly that.
You rent the venues. Just in closure, anything that you think you believe and you left it out, and just to wrap it up, closing comments in that day.
Look, the closing comments, I would say, let's keep the momentum. Let's stay positive. I'm not saying you're not going to come across negative things.
Yes.
But we need to find a way of promoting active citizenry. Because without that, you're not going to move. Okay, and I've now pushed my staff to say that this is not about money. You know, we're going to go out there and then we work. Okay, but this is just the beginning because more is going to come. So operational, clean up your own backyard. This is just phase one. Okay, so by the time I finish my term, when I look back, okay, I would say at least now there's an organization that there is stability. Okay, people can go and entertain, have conferences, enjoy themselves in terms of theatrical work. Okay, if you want to have a conversation about the youth and performing arts, we can all converge and have a dialogue.
A true active citizen.
Thank you very much.
I go by the name Themba the Rockstar Themba the Superstar Kiliwi.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said, it's that cleaning campaign thanks to the CEO. Then now the Rockstar Themba, the Rockstar Xale Pela camera. I'm just here because the AD she's here. Nsekele gadnara le nna. Kore ho etsalang mara AD dumela le kae? Yo ho etsalang ma.
Re leka ho tsosa motse. Re leka ho tsosa kalanene ya rona intlena ya PACOFS. Ke initiative ya CEO hore when I enter the office,
Yes.
it's one thing. Offices are clean and they're artistic or they are very dignified, but we tlile setjhaba sella ka hore kantle ka mona ha o khahlise. So watsana ko ho mona to phetoha ha etsala ka hare, it must also go outside. So the staff members from different departments, from finance to artistic, today stage is aga ke sona sena. Mara ntse ke tshwere camera ntse ke le molomo moholo.
What the reason of this campaign was because of your complaint. It was because of you, the viewer at home. Hali duti mane le complain and le koning I know resebetsa at all. AD, what they must look forward from your office this year? We had a blessed last few months.
Something has changed.
What's there coming? What can they expect from us?
We definitely are doing High Lapeng production concert, Kadi 25 Tamachi, where we're going to be showcasing different teasers of offerings that we had this year.
Yes,
but also beautiful works that are going to, take place in this new financial year from April to next year March. We also have an international guest who will be doing some, master classes or performance lecture for you offs. We have a number of amazing productions with the majority of Free State stars. Like Cream de la Cream to new voices, cutting edge work to the legends. Man, from comedy to jazz to drama to dance. But also we really have a lot of international guests that will be coming doing residencies. So there's a shift, man. That's why I want to clean. Re batla ha ba fitla gating ya rona ba bona ra se ba ngaphakathi with them. Re ba loketse le bona. Re ba loketse re ba kentshitsa ke re lokeleng.
Just being off cleaning today. O sebeditse Gauteng nako telele. O ngwana
Ha monate jwang.
O fihlile PACOFS mona e le hore re na le dikwala re le bangata jwang about the place in mona o swaka. What is it that you are trying to bring? Nna ke a kgolwa because o sebeditse Jozi nako telele o na le experience ya di-art. What is it that you can bring gore didimatsa gona ba dikwale and re kwala dikwala tsa gona problem ka ba fetu gore re kwala ntse re le da ha re tsene le mo Facebook or wa ba la ona le kwala man intshe out there go tena go nna le campaign today because of motho nana le kwala maoba or last week or last month, right? And then this campaign was
And I wanted even to say if which is understandable, I think we have really, as a creative industry, we need to transform, we need to be inclusive, we need to be transparent, we need to be competitive and honest. Right? That's a very serious. But it would have been nice to see a lot of artists even coming bali part of this campaign, because this is where we are having a conversation. I just also now shared, literally, if everybody goes onto our website, there are more than 10 positions, about 4 if not 5 internships, that 24 months, in plumbing, in sound engineering, in artistic department, in HR, in finance. On top of that, the permanent posts. We must start using our data for good reasons. It's a research and follow institutions and organizations we want to end up being part of. If not, so information is always there. Someone else, hey, information is always there. So it's one thing. Go out and find information, knock on doors, send messages, and social media is meant to that. Sometimes it doesn't help. When information is 10 posts,
the information is there. The information is there. She's the AD, she's the most busiest person ever. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eso. Thank you for supporting. Because this is what digital, information is all about. Thank you for contributing to what we do.
Thank you very much. That's why with Rock Lahood, we're there to push a local content beyond the borders. That's why PACOFS is there to make sure that the platform you need is there and clean. I go by the name Themba the Rockstar, Themba the Superstar, clean. Like I said, because for each and every one who can. My brother came to 18 years since he was first. I could share with her of the computer. Everybody are CEO. From your view, but we want to initiative sharp.
Because you have to building your own celebrate it has to give out among around too, So you're not the safety, but to battle moody shows for sure.
Thank you very much. He's such a busiest person. Last office. This is one of the best local actors we have around. I think it's international now. Wow, theater, no man.
Well, I can late, so I thought as much as we might as well chip in as the artist is a free state.
How did you know about this initiative?
I didn't know. I came here to Bankanya Sete. I shouldn't take the Saragayone. Because the lady, what PACOFS, Mama, I told so then I go to my life. Like only
Number one, the artist still complain a little go gas. A little to acquire a little against us in Chassis in Jacka. He's part of this. All the artists who are part of this message, the whole Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Okay, this is the lady who triggered the garden project. She went into, I think you picked up from the Facebook. Somebody complained about the outlook of PACOFS. The place doesn't look, attractive. So she triggered the garden project, and then everything followed through. Now she is the fourth lady. You recall I talked about 3+1.
Yes.
Now it's 4+1. So 4 ladies, right? It's her, it's Tuela, it's Louise, it's Adri, and it's Dlamini. Done.
The trigger. Like I said, the CEO is the most busiest person. What's Malihana is living the scene. Let's talk to the trigger.
Yeah, talk to the trigger.
I know you.
I'm good, thanks, and yourself?
Welcome to Brooklyn Hood TV.
Thank you.
What did you trigger? What was your role? What did you do?
Apparently, being a journalist. And
So you are going to pick up all the papers, no?
I spoke to Louise when she complained on Facebook about her experience at PACOFS, and I decided to follow up her story. And my colleague, actually, she's the one who took the pictures. And we spoke to RJ, and then she told us about the plans, because she's new as well.
Yes,
The CEO
yes,
is
yes.
also new. And she told us about all the plans that she has, especially with putting up the fence and making sure that the gardens remain clean. So I guess I basically just got a word
But
out there.
now that the whole project is helping, now that this thing is
I
happening,
didn't
how do
even
you
know.
feel? How do you feel about it?
Well, it's my job and I'm passionate about it. So
Quickly, we usually do these mistakes, hardly the event and so. Quickly, what is your name and what institution do you come from?
my name is Justine Fontaine and I work for the Bloemfontein Project.
Yeah, man! Thank you very much for your
Thank you
time.
so
Nathan.
much.
Keep on doing the greatest things.
Thank
ever.
you so much. I'll try my best.
Thank you. Wait, one is about. Awusika hare wena o sebetsa o le eng ka di office. Imagine the whole HR thing.
Ba mphutisa dipampiri. Mara ke go etsa environment ya rona go be lovely, go be nice.
A ke re ho ke rona tlama re iketse tse hae go le hae. Ba di ya le go shwa.
Babylon are you a temptation jack. So you coming with us gun in the ocean. You took my mama plantation. You took my poopa liberation. With my fist and fear our nation. In that is a time of a revelation. Only the wicked man must pay so much attention. In a this situation. The make you to mother wanna do abortion. In a this generation. Elias is the only foundation. Yeah. Let us stop this killing. And I know what I'm feeling. Right. And I'm a hot, yes, I'm bleeding. Feel a moody, moody feeling. And I stop this killing. And I know what I'm feeling. Right. And I'm a hot, yes, I'm bleeding. Feel a moody, moody feeling. I'm gonna do better, what's on your dichaba? By the basita, go, Mamela, what you say, Bona salute long khisa phoka la seeta hakata lo tsa ka patitso ka sibala nonyana banna ka sapanya o tlalla le hadima banna tsatsi le chabile kale mona di wa di chaba di tabile ba khono bona banna ga modela a kwatile bacteria #1 champion ya rula patela ka tanda ke le banda ka ahlula mela mulidi goto ke le soja iphahlola jona we ke le bona le khomosha lena Nkutsa boni kiriti munyaka Shapa mudisa okalande mehlapi Lord have mercy And I stop this killing And I know what I'm feeling right. And I'm a hot, yes I'm bleeding Feel a moody feeling And I stop this killing And I know what I'm feeling right. And I'm a hot, yes I'm bleeding Feel a moody feeling And I stop these killings. Them not know what I'm feeling.